The stolen car has been spotted parked up in the road, and Pat and Carl have been sent to check it out. As usual, they're in an unmarked car.
Greeny one?
Yeah.
Copy, thank you.
After getting a fix on the car, they wait up, as their intelligence says the thieves will be coming back soon.
Yeah, we'll sit here. When he comes out, we'll have him, all right?
They're not disappointed.
Here we go. Stand by, stand by. Stand by, stand by.
Tango Victor 3-2. Tango Victor 3-2.
You ready? Seatbelt off, innit?
Yeah. 3-2 is persons to the vehicle now. Can I have units to come in, please? Get here! Get here!
Get out on the ground! Down!
Pat's got the driver, but the passenger still hopes to get away from Carl.
Get your hands behind your back.
Are you in the garden still?
Now.
Stay where you are, mate. Stay there! Stay there.
Jumping yet another fence, he lands at the feet of the cameraman, who promptly sits on him. Carl soon takes over.
Okay, you're under arrest on suspicion of theft of a motor vehicle. You don't have to say anything, but it may harm your defence if not mentioned, when questioned, something which you will later on in court.
The passenger is just 14 and was on the run from a children's home. The driver's wearing marigold gloves. He's just 16 and he has a surprise down his pants.
I don't care. How old are you?
16. That's it.
So what you got there then? What's that?
Skunk.
What is it?
Skunk.
Skunk?
Yeah.
You just bought this?
No.
I'm arresting you on suspicion, theft of a motor vehicle, okay, and also for possession of a Class B controlled drug. Do you understand everything I've said? You don't have to say anything, but it may harm your defence if you don't mention now something which you later rely on in court, and anything you do say be given in evidence. Do you understand?
Yes.
Doing some washing up?
No.
How old are you?
16.
15. How old are you?
16.
How old are you?
16.
Right, where are the keys for it?
I weren't driving it, man. I weren't driving it, I'm telling you, man.
It's all on video, my friend.
I ain't got nothing, though.
You not got the keys, then?
Sit still. Sit still.
My glove off.
No, sit,
You can
sit
leave
still.
stick with them on. Don't you like plastic gloves so much?
Carl searches the car for clues. It was nicked several days ago after a spare set of keys were taken in a house burglary. The owner didn't even know they'd gone until she came home from work to find her car missing. The driver was charged with theft, driving underage and possession of drugs. His passenger was taken back to the children's home, but he ran off again less than a week later. This is the end of a pursuit of a hijacked van. In the USA, cars are often taken at gunpoint. In the chaos caused by the crash, a patrol car knocks the gunman over.
The guy put a gun to my stomach and asked me for money. I says, where am I going to get it? I don't have any money. And I backed off, and then he pointed at my buddy, and the door was open on the van. He hopped in the van and took off.
Extreme situations demand an extreme response. An officer won't hesitate to use whatever it takes to bring a dangerous situation to an end, even if it means using the car's front bumper. Officers help an injured colleague away, but on top of that, a passenger of the car the thief crashed into was also hospitalised. A US patrol car camera captures the end of a dramatic pursuit. Speeding down a Texas freeway, a robber is fast running out of time as his stolen car is running out of fuel. The robbery suspect, though, has one last evil trick up his sleeve and tries to hijack a car driven by a mum with 2 kids. It's a critical situation, but the cops are right on the scene. As shots are fired, the mother is able to drive to safety. The nutter is wounded in a hail of gunfire before he can get into the car. Carjacking is rare in the UK, luckily, but the Subaru down below was taken by force. The distinctive car was soon picked up on the M1 by the North Midlands chopper. There's a myth amongst car thieves that a high-performance car like this can outrun a chopper, and though the driver tried, he soon realised it was just a myth. He shoots down a slip road, narrowly missing a queue of traffic. The car speeds into Sheffield, leaving the traffic cars far behind, but it can't shake the chopper. He abandons the car, but the helicopter doesn't abandon him. Because the chopper crew were unfamiliar with the area, it took longer than usual for the ground forces to catch up. The speed he'd been driving at didn't help. They turned their searchlight on him, helping officers to find him.
8820 unit, we're directly above now, the driver.
He's desperately trying to find a building to hide in.
Light is on the suspect now. Turn right there. Stop, you've just driven past him. He's just gone over a fence.
The helicopter crew get confused when a youth wearing similar clothes appears and gives himself up.
That's the one, you've got the right one. Got him. We only saw one come out of the vehicle.
But they quickly realise it's not their man. The carjackers still in the back gardens. Finally, the thief's cornered. His hijacking career is over.
Control Quebec 1-1, we've got this stolen Audi, Buckingham Road towards Farnham Road.
The proactive traffic team has been assigned to cover the North Slough area after a spate of house burglaries. The robbers are using high-performance cars to escape. An Audi estate is spotted, driven by a likely suspect, and a pursuit starts.
Quebec 1-1, it's still northbound, he's made contact with us, still northbound though, 355 towards Beaconsfield.
The car heads for the countryside, hoping to lose the patrol cars in the narrow lanes. But as he's driving up to it...
Patrol units left Burnham Road towards Burnham.
Easy, just stay with it, stay with it.
The lead car lets the other car in front, as they're a local team who know the area. The car wasn't actually hijacked, but as good as. It was taken after a house burglary. Modern cars are so well protected that thieves resort to increasingly desperate and dangerous ways to steal cars. Before long, the Audi's reckless speeding catches them out. At times, the Audi hit 105. Even rally drivers aren't that fast down country lanes. Mad or what? A man in a red tracksuit has been reported running from smashing the window of a car in a traffic queue, and Derek and Grant are soon looking for him.
Headed towards the Farnham Road. Very irate, very agitated. Believe he may be on some kind of a substance. His eyes are very glazed. I did say he flagged down earlier.
Yeah,
You spot him very easily.
it's beyond Billy's.
On this side of the road?
Yeah. There he is.
Tango Victor 3-3, got positive sighting outside Joy Sleep received. I'm going to sneak up on them, mate.
No, what's this? If I can't get out, you're stuck here on your own.
Yeah, wait.
They're so close, but not close enough. It's frustrating.
Can't get anywhere.
Let's just play it.
Now that he's bolted, I can go.
They've been told the suspected robber seems to be high on drugs, so when they spot a WPC about to nick him, they make sure they get in quick.
On your knees. On your knees, do it! But behind your back. You're under arrest, criminal damage and attempted robbery. You don't have to say anything, but may arm of defence if you do not mention when questioned. Something which you'd like to say. Do you understand what you've been arrested for?
Though the guy didn't appear to be a danger to anyone, Derek and Grant had no way of knowing what they were getting into when they leapt from the car.
Tango Victor 3-3, 09 with 1, none outstanding.
Have you got anything sharp in your pockets? Sure. I will check him, I just want to know.
He's committed an offence, but we'll take him back, find the circumstances out from the hospital, and then find out what damage has been caused with the lady's car, find out what the intent was, but he's not talking a lot of sense at the moment.
Coming up in part 2, the maddest van pursuit. Truckers behaving badly, and a cop caught with his pants down. In part 2, crashes, pursuits, and loads of bad behaviour. Highway 5 near Sacramento, California, heading north. The Ford Focus was stranded after having smashed into the back of a tanker moments earlier.
Big rig just hit it. A big rig just hit it. Big rig just hit it. A big rig just hit it. See lights on there.
I was just northbound traveling, and next thing I know, something hit my back bumper. I looked in my mirror and I seen the car just spinning around, and I pulled over to the side, and that's all I can recall. The car was left in the middle of the road there, and we tried to contact somebody to come out here, and there was no flares or nothing set up, so that other truck hit it. The other flatbed truck, so he must have been going about 45, 50. There's a 55-mile zone here for trucks, so, you know, there was no way he can avoid it because there's no lights on the car to see it. I mean, he's carrying about 45,000 pounds on that truck, and there's no way he's going to stop it in, on time. Any of these large vehicles, there's no way you can avoid it. So people think that these trucks will stop on dimes because they've got big tires on them. No, they don't.
The truck had relatively slight damage to it, while the car was a complete write-off.
They're all three over here behind the barrier. All right. They hit the tanker truck.
The driver and passenger are deeply shocked from the first crash. They've been helped out of their car and off the freeway by other motorists. In fact, they hadn't witnessed the 18-wheeler truck crashing into the wreckage of their car and had no idea to the extent of the carnage. A fire crew medic checks the driver out while the police secure the road. Within 40 minutes, the road was cleared of debris and the freeway reopened.
A big rig just hit it.
A patrol car video catches a truck tyre as it explodes and starts smoking. In a recent surprise check, vehicle examiners stopped almost 2,000 trucks. They were staggered to find that more than 25% had serious defects, and 225 of them were immediately taken off the road. But not only that, A quarter of them were overloaded. This isn't smoke, it's dust thrown up as the tanker thunders down the hard shoulder. The driver sees the bridge approaching and the hard shoulder about to disappear, so he forces his way onto the outside lane, causing the car transporter to quickly shift across. Dangerous loads lead to most of the stops made by traffic cops. A common mistake motorists make is getting too close to trucks. They take an age to stop in an emergency. They also need more room than motorists realise at junctions and roundabouts, so give truckers plenty of space, especially this one. Last year, trucks were involved in 560 fatal accidents. 54 of those deaths were truckers themselves. HGV crashes also caused over 19,000 injuries. Research shows that 20% were caused by driver fatigue. But this driver wasn't falling asleep. He was reading a newspaper. Maybe he was reading someone's obituary. Disqualified from driving for 6 months, he was fined 120 quid with 69 quid costs. It's the M1 in Derbyshire, and this is a 38-ton stolen truck being driven by a drunk. By the time the North Midlands chopper gets overhead, the HGV's tyres have already been spiked, but it's quite some time before it literally grinds to a halt. In fact, not until the tyres are well and truly trashed, and it's reduced to driving on its rims. Finally, it reaches a hill and just won't go any further. He got 15 months jail for stealing the truck, followed by a 12-month driving ban for drink driving. It's quite tricky bringing your work home when work is a massive HGV. But this trucker got fined for parking on the pavement and obstructing the junction. Police had had a call from a trucker in distress, but he's not that easy to find. Unfortunately, this lane gets narrower and narrower as you go down it. There's evidence of a serious problem ahead, as something has recently demolished this wall. It took a heavy crane to get him out of that mess, which caused even more damage to the lane. But his is not an isolated case. Heavy lorries cause untold grief in the country lanes, often because their sign reading skills leave a lot to be desired. This old timer's been caught driving his beer truck in the wrong lane, but the officer's about to give him the surprise of his life.
How you doing, sir?
All right, sir.
Sergeant Stevens with the sheriff's office. And I know why you pulled over.
Yeah, I was in the third lane.
What was you doing out there?
That young fella in that pickup truck in front of me, he passed me, and as soon as he got in front of me, he slowed down. And so I went in the right-hand lane, and then he pulled in front of me again. And so I went in the center lane, and then I done what you saw. He was, well, you know they do it. Never mind, I done it. I'm sorry, I know I shouldn't have, but never mind.
Go ahead and plead your case.
Well, that's it. I'm done. Hell, I done it. I should never have fooled around with a little. I'm done.
Well, what do you think I ought to do to you?
I don't know. You're the boss.
Well, I'm gonna let you make the decision.
Huh?
Let's step over here so we don't get run over.
Yes, sir.
Ball's in your court. Whatever you decide is what I'll agree with you. Never been put in a predicament like this, have you?
No, sir. That's a first, and I ain't no spring chicken.
So what do you suggest? You're the police, I'm the truck driver.
This is a terrible situation. I feel guilty as sin.
I'm in a good mood tonight. Whatever you decide, you're the police. I'm the truck driver.
I'll let you go.
Okay. I'll tell you not to do it again, right? Will that be fair? You think I'm playing with you, don't you?
Yeah.
Well, I'm not. I'm being dead serious. Whatever you decide, you know you was wrong.
Yeah.
But you had to do it to keep him running over the guy because he kept playing with you. So what are you going to do? You're the police.
You're getting more fun out of this, and I'm so frustrated I feel like an old maid talking about sex that never had a hot kiss.
You the police now.
Well, I said I'd let you go, but I'd give you hell, I suppose, for being in that third lane.
But I know I was wrong. I was in that left lane, but I was trying to avoid an accident. Okay?
Yes, sir.
Have a good trip. Now, unless you want me to write you a ticket, I can write you a ticket. But I don't want to.
Could I do something for you, son?
What's that? No, I can't take no money from you.
I was going to give you $20 to give your church.
Can't do that. All right?
God's blessing, son. Thank you.
From a lorry loaded with beer to a van overloaded with passengers getting a late night ride home. Unfortunately, the ladies don't have any seatbelts on. Well supported in some areas, they really should have been wearing belts. Staffordshire cops still have their takeaway curry on their laps when they receive an urgent call out. They make a sudden U-turn, but the passenger hasn't closed his door properly, and he and his curry end up dumped on the road. Either the fall has ripped his trousers, or that's one powerful vindaloo. Some things just don't look right, and when Pat and Carl spot three people hanging round a phone box, they move in. As they get closer, one man quickly heads off into the woods. Weird.
You go for the car, I'll go for matey boy.
Look, Foxtrot 113, thanks.
Hang on a minute, mate. What are you doing? Keep your hands away from me. What are you doing?
Go up to your mate up the pub.
No, you're not. You just come out of the car and you've just gone in and out of the phone box. All right, I'm PC Knight from the Truck Roads Policing Department, OK? And I want to search you because I'm not happy with your behaviour. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm on my way to the Farnham Road, and he gave me a lift. He wanted to use the phone. The money's still in the phone, but...
Why has he wandered off then? He's using the phone.
Piss, I think.
OK, right, just walk back over here.
Any middle names?
John.
What's your name?
Stephen.
Stephen what? Yeah. Whereabouts in Charby do you live, Stephen?
High Street, Charby.
High Street?
Yeah.
Okay, that's it, just stand there.
All three are checked out thoroughly, but there's something bugging Pat about the guy in the white jacket.
Why have you got two pairs of trousers on?
Isn't it?
It's cold.
Yeah, I've got two tops on as well.
It's not that cold. Two pairs of trousers. A little bit unusual, isn't it?
No.
No?
Meanwhile, Carl's been given some career advice.
You've got a good IQ, I suppose.
Not really, no.
A good intuition. Ain't you got a good intuition?
No.
You shouldn't even be in the job then, should you?
No, I shouldn't, but somehow I've slipped through the net.
Well, why don't you go and do the hard work instead of the easy work?
What's the hard work then?
Well, you know what the hard work is, don't you?
Oh, your opinion might be different to mine.
All right, then, if you don't know what the hard work is, you're in the wrong job, pal.
No, must be in the wrong job then.
Pat still thinks there's something odd.
Okay, before I let you go, I've got to be satisfied that you are who you say you are. You've got no identification on you, have you?
No.
The vehicle's not registered to you.
No, I know. I've only had it a couple of
Well, why did you walk away from the vehicle then?
I know.
Why?
Look, it's no tax.
Yeah.
Can't go. I don't want to lose my job.
No tax and what else?
I didn't insure it either.
Right. Have you got a driving licence? So I can check with the DVLA on the database now. Do you understand now? I've got to be satisfied you are who you say you are.
I don't want another ban.
Sorry? You don't want another ban? When was the last time you were banned?
Years. Not banned, but told off.
Where's that diary you had on you with check with the probation? They'll know, won't they? Because the problem is, if I'm not satisfied you are who you say you are, then you're going to have to come with me.
Okay.
So all I'm saying to you is, if you want to change your story now, now's the chance to do it. Because if you just let me finish. Because if you're not who you are who you say you are, okay, and you've lied to me, then you'll be charged with obstruction. But if you want to tell me who you are...
It's easy to lie about who you are, but not when the cops have your latest diary.
When were you last arrested?
Years ago. Years and years ago.
So why have you got a date in your diary for a probation appointment then?
That's
No, it's this year.
No, it's not. It's ages ago, mate. Honest to God, that's ages ago.
Look what it says here, look.
Who do you live there with?
Beatrice, my mum.
How long you lived there?
Years. I've lived there years.
Look, it says here...
Sure, it's not my brother, Jeff.
No, look, what does it say here, look? Probation, 4 to 5 p.m.
No, but yeah...
The 28th of January...
It's just written down, officer. Honest.
I really don't want to have to take you in, but I think I'm going to have to in a minute, because I don't believe you are who you are.
The questions are getting harder.
Have you got a mobile?
No.
You haven't? Well, why has he got my mobile here? 07760. What's that? What's the number of it?
079.
Nah. No.
Hang on, 0790. Hang on, Gov, you're getting me going now in the morning, please.
And what about his mother's number and his diary?
Do you know anybody who lives in Maidenhead? Your mum? What about Mum C?
Yeah.
Who's that then?
She lived there years ago.
Who's that then?
She's died.
Why have you still got a phone number in here then?
It's ages.
It's not ages old. Look, this is this year's diary.
Yeah, the numbers in there are ages old.
Well, why put somebody's number in here who's dead?
Take me down to the police station.
I'm going to have to, because I don't believe you are who you say you are. I've given you enough opportunity, haven't I? Do you understand what I'm saying? And then we'll have to make some inquiries. Because it don't make a lot of sense, does it?
Gov, I'm not lying to you.
But instead of going to the station, Pat checks out the home address he's been given. Nice move.
So I said, where do you live? And he said, here. And I said, who do you live there? He said, with my mum, Beatrice.
That's right, because he used to go out with my sister.
Excellent. All right.
All right, mate.
Thanks very much. Well, I spoke to Mr. and it's not the bloke we've got in the back of our car. He knows who it is. This guy's done it to him before, and this guy's actually been arrested twice. He's had to go down to the police station to prove who he is. And what he's saying is he knows his details because the guy we've got used to go out with his sister. Roy, you're a bad man. You're a bad man, Roy. No, he's not very happy with you for giving his details again. So you're disqualified, Roy? Are you disqualified at the moment or not? You are? Right, also arresting you for driving while disqualified, all right? Additionally. Well, no, it be like that, is there?
I'm scared.
You know, you've given it a go, haven't you? And it ain't worked out. Yeah?
Not only is he disqualified, but there's 2 warrants out for the geezer's arrest. No wonder he tried it on. The North Midlands chopper has been scrambled to keep tabs on a white van driving recklessly through Derbyshire.
Continuing straight on towards Taylor Lane. From Moscow, Hotel 88, continuing straight on. It's turning right.
At the wheel is an armed robber who's escaped from jail. He seems to know the local area very well.
Reversing, vehicle reversing.
The jailbreaker is considered to be extremely dangerous and possibly armed, so police get permission to break out their own weapons.
Foxtrot 1, yes, permission to arm. Tango Sierra, Foxtrot 5, Sierra 1. Yeah, permission to arm.
He heads into what police think is a dead end. Only the driver knows it isn't if you cut across the grass around the bollards.
School field. Clear, still clear. Yeah, vehicle still continuing.
Desperate not to return to jail, he breaks every rule in the book.
Stand by, turning right, wrong way down the A610. Correction, now turning left, onto Codner Marking Place. Yeah, vehicle still A610. From 88 is now turned right onto Alfreton Road.
The chopper crew thought that the van driver had a trick up his sleeve here. Could he confuse them in white van land?
Okay, if you block that, there's no exit. If you block that, no exit.
No chance. The cops weren't going to give him any slack.
A610 in the opposite direction back towards Codner Marketplace. From 88, overtaking centre of the road, high speed through Codner Market.
He forces his way through traffic with no regard for other motorists.
From 88, no change, still continue to overtake traffic, high speed, wrong side of the road. Continuing straight on past Waingrove Road. Yeah, from 88, vehicle turning onto the Gypsy site. From 88, the vehicle's on the Gypsy site, 3 units still behind it.
The driver seems to be trying to find the right place to do a run-up, but the patrol cars aren't going to let him. But the passenger gives it a go and jumps from the moving van and is immediately nicked.
Still continuing towards Taylor Lane. Passengers laying on the floor complying with police instructions. Vehicle still back out onto Taylor Lane.
After countless near misses, he stops and gives it legs.
Stopping, the driver's out. The driver's out. Continue to monitor on thermal. The driver's out. Officers in pursuit. It's turning right into a house. Yeah, to the...
Gotcha!
To the other unit in the second car.
Staring down the barrel of the gun, the robber unconditionally surrenders.
Location 135, 1 arrested. From 88, 1 arrested.
All mobiles, be aware. Both occupants of Toyota Hiace van now in custody. Both occupants now in custody.
Coming up in part 3, mad pedestrians, cyclists, and no way to treat kids. In part 3, cyclists, kids in danger, and lunatic pedestrians. Patrolling on the M6 motorway, police are surprised when a youth appears on the hard shoulder and suicidally runs straight across the carriageway. This bozo was never traced. Again on the M6, and a stolen car is being driven at crazily dangerous speed. At times, reaching over 130. But luckily it's very early in the morning and the traffic is light. The lead patrol car touches its brakes. The car smashes into the barrier and spins out. The driver manages to get out of the car, but he's grabbed as he tries to leap the barrier. The cops were about to nick the bloke ahead for tailgating when the young jaywalker grabbed their attention. She quickly disappeared. Of the 11 people killed every day on the roads, 1/3 are pedestrians. Pursued through heavy M6 traffic, a stolen car is trying to get away from the Lancashire police. The driver uses every lane as a fast lane, dangerously switching back and forth, trying to throw the patrol car off the trail. But very soon there are 2 cars after him, making it less likely that they'll escape. The ducking and diving continues for a few more miles until the thieves get caught up in increasingly heavy traffic. Suddenly they completely run out of road and are boxed in, but the loons jump out, leap the barrier and run straight across 3 lanes of busy traffic, almost daring the cops to follow the same way. The youths were quickly rounded up and arrested. They were dead lucky they weren't killed and hadn't caused a motorway pile-up. Officers come across a cyclist riding along the M6 near Preston in a live lane. His excuse was that diversion routes were signposted onto the motorway, so he followed them. This cyclist could have very easily added himself to the statistics, which listed 203 cyclists killed and over 24,000 injured last year. But he did end up with a £50 fine. Officers are amazed when they spot two children in this estate car. They seem a bit squeezed in. It's not surprising they look squashed. They're having to share the boot with a load of unsecured tyres. The driver was prosecuted for dangerous use of a vehicle and having no insurance. Pat and Carl spot a car being driven oddly.
Driving's none too clever. Is he on his own in the vehicle, did you notice?
They decide to pull it over as there's definitely something strange going on inside the car.
Certainly not wearing his seatbelt. Is it a little kid, look? He stood up between the seats.
Doing something in it.
It is a kid, but where's she been sitting all this time?
Hello, was that child sat on your lap?
No.
When you were driving along?
No.
Where was she?
She just came out.
Just came out of what? We followed you from Slough, okay, and you're weaving all over the place, indicating left, indicating right. You're in the outside lane of the Windsor Eaton Relief Road, weaving about all over the place. Couldn't see anybody else in the vehicle, and then when we stopped, her head popped up right next to yours. And when I got up to you here, she was across on your lap.
Yeah, she just came out after the relief road.
And why aren't you wearing your seatbelt?
I'm sorry, I should be wearing it.
And if you haven't got a child seat, she shouldn't be in the car, should she?
No, I know she shouldn't be.
But she wasn't sitting in the back when I came up to you, was she? And you were still driving down the road.
She was before.
When I got to you, she was actually on your lap, wasn't she?
Yeah.
Wasn't she? Yes or no? She was, wasn't she?
It was after the relief
Well, that's
road.
not... Yeah, but it doesn't matter whether it's... It doesn't matter whether it was after the relief road or not.
Look, the man says you have to sit in the back, okay? Don't cause me trouble now, okay?
Obviously, if there's an accident, the lady's going to go forward. The only thing that's going to stop her from hitting the windscreen or the steering wheel is a small child. She can't be in proper control of her vehicle. She's got a child sat on her lap and she's trying to steer. You can see the commotion now that's going on behind me with her just to get her to sit in a seat. No child seat in the vehicle. On the rear seat of the vehicle is a wooden rocking horse type seat, which is obviously, I should think, what the child might have been in originally, not restrained in any way whatsoever.
The kid throws a proper wobbler when her mum tries to get her into the back.
Just sit in the seat for a little while with your seatbelt on, and then you'll soon be home. Otherwise, Mummy will have to get somebody to come out to sit with you.
Luckily for everyone, the child's grandmother turns up, just as Pat's writing out a ticket.
For the sake of a child, for the sake of a child seat, get one put in this vehicle, please. Right, you can't take them about without them.
It's also breaking the law not to have seatbelts on children, with a fixed penalty of £30, or a lot more if it goes to court. Children should be treated as valuables, not be left jumping around on the parcel shelf. One of the groups most affected in accidents is children. Injuries and deaths for children increased last year, with 270 being killed, which is one of the worst child fatality rates in Europe. There are many things you can do to reduce this appalling statistic. The simplest is to put children in car seats. It's a seemingly routine stop for Lancashire officers on the M55. But they get a surprise when the driver opens the boot of the vehicle. They find 2 children lying in it. Court threw the book at the driver, who was fined £100 in order to pay £35 costs. In addition, he was disqualified from driving for 28 days.
Yep. Yeah. Passing his spliff round.
This car in Slough's got no lights on in the dark, and there's a spliff being passed round. Derek and Grant decide to have a word.
I just want to see what this bloke does when...
Now it's been passed to the driver.
I've got a feeling the driver might have it.
Over. Now. Put your hands on the car just so I can see what you're doing. I'm asking you a straightforward question. Where is it?
Honestly, I haven't been smoking anything.
Listen, we've just been watching you.
Come on
okay,
this side.
it's as simple as that. All right, that's the only reason we stopped you. We got up beside you, had a good look, and the look on your face is great. Just as you passed it to you. So you have a word with my colleague. Listen, lads, he's in a lot of trouble, OK? And the reason for that is he's driving a motor vehicle with no lights on, so we notice him. The second thing is, you're all smoking it, all right, and you're passing it around.
Can't concentrate properly.
All right. What would happen to you if you got caught driving after drinking 3 or 4 cans of Stella? And?
Lose your licence.
And? Do you need your car for work?
Yeah.
Right, and?
What my main concern is that one, he's smoking cannabis, because I can smell it very, very strongly in this car, OK? And if we're all, again, honest about each other...
Grant tells the driver the facts about drug driving.
Cannabis affects the way your brain works.
Yeah.
Do you agree with that?
Yeah, your reactions are slower.
Slows down your reactions. Exactly the same as alcohol.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Never mind the camera, OK? This is a bit more important, all right? This is a controlled substance. As far as I'm concerned, I've got the power now to arrest all 4 of you, to take you back to the police station to give you a drug search.
It's exactly the same as driving when you're drunk. If you don't want to drink and drive...
No, I don't.
Then why drive and smoke cannabis at the same time?
I don't know.
Derek tries to find out just how much there is in the car.
Right, OK, have you got any more on you? Right. So you're just having one spliff between all of you, yeah?
Amazingly, the driver's only passed his test 4 days ago.
I've been driving for about 4 days.
What? Since you passed your test?
Yeah, I passed my test on Monday.
Right. So you're not an experienced driver in the first place?
No, no.
Have you got your licence with you?
Yeah.
The youths are warned over their drug use, and the driver's given 7 days to produce all his documents.
I'll take that with you when you go to the police station.
Yes.
So I said to you, Aaron, if you value your life, your friends' lives, and more importantly, your driving licence, it's taken a long time to get that, hasn't it?
Yeah.
Right. If you choose to smoke cannabis, don't do it when you're about to drive or when you're driving. OK? You need the same period of time as you would leave between alcohol and driving. OK?
Yeah.
So that's no lights, smoking a spliff, and a licence that's only 4 days old. What a way to start your driving career.